So today I want to talk to you about this horrific number that I just came across today. And this is fatherlessness in America. I looked at the data, and if you look at the data yourself, you're going to be surprised and astonishing how we compare to the rest of the world and where we are in America as a nation when it comes to being a single parent without a father here in America. So I just looked at the numbers not too long ago, and the numbers shows this way. 1 out of every 4 households here in America are being raised with a single parent. 80% of those, okay, 80% of the households in America, okay, are being led by a single parent, and that is mostly a woman. That is not a good number if we want to compete against everybody else, against the world, okay? That is not a good number for us to look at. That is not a good data for us to follow, because in America, we're all about numbers. We're all about, how can we be better? What are we good at? We are the leading technology in the world. We are the leading economy in the world up until recently, right? Because now you got China, catching up now. The point that I'm trying to make is that if we want to compete at a high level, we want to compare all of these other numbers, first we got to take a look at these numbers, because these numbers say a lot. So again, the numbers are 1 out of every 4 households. Okay, 1 out of every 4 households are have no father. Okay, and 80% of those households are being led by a single mother. My thing is this. Okay, I personally I grew up without a father up until the age, I believe I was 6 or 7. I really have a faded memory of when my father stepped away, because he was coming in and out most of the times. Now, don't get me wrong, my mom did the best that she could, and she raised me who I am today. I believe that I would not be here. Okay. And I can't say that it would have been better. It could have been worse. I don't know that. I can't say that. But the point is that I'm here thanks to my mother. A lot of props go to other single mothers who are raising their kids without a parent. So I grew up not having a father during my early ages, 6, all the way up till pretty much now. Okay. I remember I saw my father when I was 16, 17 again. And then after that, it had been years prior to that, maybe about 10, 11 years before I saw him. I saw him from in and out maybe a year and a half. Then after that, I went to the Marine Corps. Unfortunately, he passed away while I was in Iraq, while I was being deployed in 2006. And I never heard from my dad again. That is my story. That's the story about me. I grew up without a father. So now how did that affect me? Well, growing up, I remember that I was inconfident. I wasn't confident in the sense of, when I was approached by other kids, not necessarily bullied, okay? But when I was approached by other kids that had more of a character at that point, I don't want to say manly, right? Because it was man and woman. But I just didn't have the confidence that I could be a man enough to stand up to a conversation, to go up to a girl and say, you know what, I like you a lot. You want to go out on a date with me. I didn't have that confidence, but I had to develop that confidence. And so that is one of the areas where I struggled the most growing up. That's one of the areas when you grow up as a single parent, okay, maybe a mother in this case, raising a kid, it doesn't necessarily mean, and I'm not trying to make a point that you're going to need a dad every time that you're in a relationship. I'm not saying that you're going to need a dad, because most likely you don't. Okay, most likely you're not going to need a dad if you're a single mom. Okay, that goes for everybody. But the point for me, it affected me in my confidence. Okay, it affected me in my confidence and also my self-control. I couldn't really control myself. I remember, I had a very bad attitude. I remember, I was very angry most of the times. And all along, I was trying to figure it out. Why is it that I was angry? Why was that I was frustrated? I couldn't really think why was the reason. But the point is that later on, I figured it out that, hey, all along, I had this inner I was not confident, and I had it inside of me, and it just made me really, really irritated, and it just made me angry. So therefore, I would take it off on other people. That's one of the areas where most young adults, okay, whether that is male or female, correct, growing up without a father, that is the presence that is missing. Now, again, I'm not saying that you need a father in order for you to have this confidence, because if your morale, okay, if the mom, okay, if the mother does such a phenomenal job that she sets standards, she sets values, she sets the example of, hey, I'm going to provide the best that I can for you, and I'm going to be there for you every single time. There's no doubt in my mind that you're not going to miss any love. We might struggle financially, but you better believe that I'm going to put a food over on our table. We're going to have a roof over our head, And these are our principles. These are our principles that are guiding me, that are leading me to be a better provider for you. So not all the time are you going to need a father. If you are a dad and a mom still together, maybe working things out, just remember that the child is going to go through a phase of uncertainty because they're going to see certain things that maybe they shouldn't be seeing at that point, and they're not really going to understand what is really happening. So it is our job as parents to make sure that we educate them, that we help them understand that, because most of the times we want to hide it. We want to hide from our kids when they're maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, and we say that everything was okay when it's really not okay. So what we're really saying is that, hey, it's okay for us to be going through this. So therefore, it's okay for you to be going through that when you get to that stage. But that's not really what it's about. It's about us developing that character, developing that mentality that, yes, I acknowledge the fact that I'm going through this difficult stage in my life, and this is what I'm doing to deal with it. And by the way, at some point you're going to experience the same thing. This is what I'm doing. This is what makes me a woman. This is what makes me a man in order for me to deal with these situations. So I encourage you that this is the way that you're going to handle things, because by the way, at some point you're going to have a girlfriend, you're going to have a boyfriend. These are the conversations that we need to have. But society, okay, our culture has said, you can't talk to your kids about that. You can't talk to your kids about money. You can't talk to your kids about this. You can't talk to them about that. And so therefore we hide it. That we hide it. And then, we go into this cave, sort of say, and we just hide from the reality rather than facing it, hit ourselves in the head and say, okay, what can I do to learn from this in order for me to become better, to set the example for my son, my grandson, my daughter, my granddaughter, for whoever is going to come after me. But more importantly, for me and my community, the people that surround me, the example that I'm going to give to everybody else. These are challenges that we must face, but the numbers are not good. 80% of households, okay, are being led by a single mother, by a single mother. Those are not good numbers that we're facing in our nation today. And that is the reality of it. That is the entire reality of it. And you could blame it on politics. You could blame it on technology. You could blame it on whatever, different eras of, well, I'm a man. I can date whatever I want. I don't need to take care of my child. If you want to think like that, well, then that's on you. I really want to challenge you to really think, is that really what you were here? Is that really why you were put in this planet for, to do? To say, you know what? I don't have to deal with that. I'm not like the rest. Yeah, I don't need to be in a relationship. Is that really what you ultimately were put here? My thing is that I don't believe that we were put here in this planet, in this earth, in this life to do. I believe that God has a bigger purpose for us all. And our job is to find it. What can we do to find it? What can we do to find our purpose? What can we do to contribute better to our society, to our children? And so that is one of the things that I struggled the most. So, sociability. Okay, I remember having issues dealing with just building relationships. I still do up to this point, but I'm conscious of that. So the minute that I make myself conscious that, hey, I need to work on relationships, then I'm more intentional about building relationships. But I'm, in my late 30s now. And so it took me all of these years. But what if it's not me? What if it's somebody else that needs this guidance during the early stages of their lives? When they're maybe 15, 16 years old, you hear about the school shooting that just happened not too long ago in Tennessee. You have that in your head that it wasn't given to me. So I'm going to go out and take it away from everybody. Okay. Not everybody's able to reason at a level that everybody else is. Okay. And then that person cannot be reasoning at the same level that everybody else. We're all are different. But if I can reach out to you, if I can be that one individual that reaches out to you right now and just grab you by the shoulder and say, hey, there's a bigger version of yourself out there, whether you're a single dad or single mom. Well, in this case, if you're a father, okay, and you left your child, there's a better version of yourself out there. And you got to find a purpose. Maybe I'm not to be with my wife, my girlfriend, my fiance. That's fine. But it doesn't take away the fact that I can still be there present for my daughter, for my son. And so that is the challenge that we have nowadays. And so sociability, I remember having issues with this myself. And one of the things that for for young kids when they're growing up, especially if they're women, okay, you got the risk, okay, of how many times have you heard? a teen pregnancy. Teen pregnancy, I remember I grew up in the early 2000s. That's when I went to school and graduated high school. And I remember seeing one, two, three, four, five different, I can't really remember, but there was multiple teenagers, 17, 18-year-old young kids. Okay, young kids. Now I call them young kids because that's what they are to me now. But that is one of the things that we're facing nowadays is teen pregnancy at an early stage. And that is caused because of not all the time, but big part of that has to do with the fact that there's not a father figure present, that it's missing there. Okay, I have had so many conversations. I just had a conversation not too long ago with a client that I have that I was working with, and she says to me, Marcelino, I have issues with my kids. You just have them to listen to me. It's really hard for me to really listen to them. And I'm a single mom. I gotta provide for them. I gotta work. Okay. And by the way, I'm limited because I have one kid that is with special needs. And so it is very difficult for me to have them hear me out, that that I need them to cooperate with me. And another client as well, two sons in their 30s, not really giving the mother the support. Okay. The mother doesn't really have the say so, you can say, because she lost control of them. And you're gonna lose control of your kids at some point, no matter what. I know that I am too, as at some point, on my 10 and my 5-year-old son. At some point, I'm gonna have only limited control of what can I tell them, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be their decision on what they ought to make for their lives. But I can influence them today at an early stage and to become a better version for themselves while they're growing and they're still under my supervision. So I'm dropping out of school. Okay. It's something that it has a ripple effect, is what I'm trying to say. It's going to have that ripple effect. And then there's a probability that, you might just drop out of school. Okay. And we need to go into school during our early stages because that develops our social skills. Okay. The ability to interact with others, to talk to others, to meet people, to build those relationships. And then therefore after that, you can say, hey, I don't need to go to college, but that's besides the point. The point is that when there's that father figure, when there's that male presence that is absent, there's a higher probability that that individual may end up dropping out of school. It doesn't work like that all the time, by the way. Okay. By no means am I saying that, but I'm just saying that there's a higher probability. But again, my salute to all the single moms that are raising their kids, because it is a hard job. By the way, for all single men as well, for all single men that are raising their kids on their own, I know many of them. I just talked to them, one of them last week, and he's just telling me, it's tough. But at the end of the day, he's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to be able to provide, and he's there, for his daughter. But at the same time, that daughter is missing the mother figure as well. So it is important of what can we do in order for us to become together as a society and to implement a new culture, to implement a new, not a new, but just to renew what it was accustomed to do, for us to work it out together. Yeah, honey, I really don't like you, but hey, what can we do to work this out together? Because believe me, I understand that sometimes you're gonna be able to work it out. By the way, not too long ago, I made a video of the 5 love languages, okay, where we touch the communication, some of the languages that are in the silent languages, okay, that we don't often speak with our partners, and that is missing, that leads us to have those bad moments, bad experiences, bad relationships, and then ends up costing us our marriage, our relationship, causes us for us to break up. Okay. The 5 love languages, go back and watch the video, because I promise you, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. And what can we do to bring that culture back to life? Okay, that America was not built on. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and go have sex with you one night, and then tomorrow I'm just gonna be gone. I'm done. I'm out. What can we do to bring that culture back? Because 80%, again, this number, it's not a good number. Okay, engagement is gonna matter. You got to have that engagement with your kids, because I'm telling you, it's one of the hardest things that we can have in a positive way, for us to have that together. So again, I believe that it starts with one person. If that person has the ability, the courage, to bring it up and say, hey, we got to work this out. What can we do to work it out? I really don't want, maybe we're not going to stay together, but we're not going to do it just for the sake of just being with the kids, because that will be one of the biggest mistakes for me personally that you can make, to stay together just because of your kids. Because at the end of the day, if separating both of you, if both of you separating is the best thing that can happen for that child, then by all means, that's what it is. But the biggest mistake that most people make is, I'm going to stay with you because of the kids, because that's the way it is. No, it's not about that. It's like saying, you know what? I hate my job, but I'm just going to stay here because I need to pay my bills. No, you got to go out there and go find something better. Okay. Don't settle for what society's telling us to settle for, which is less. Settle for less. We can't be doing that. It's one of the things that we got to be really present to, the fact of, hey, there's always something better out there. You know what? Maybe by us not being together will be the best thing. But hey, I gave it my best. I know that we gave it, or I'm confident that you gave it your all. I'm confident that I gave it my all. But what can we do to learn from this, and then not to let our child make the same mistakes that we made? That's what I mean. That's what it's really all about. It's about finding that juice, squeezing that juice from my mistakes, okay, through failure and success, okay, squeezing that juice of all of those mistakes that I made, so that therefore there's no more juice left for everybody that is going to come behind me, which is you, my audience, or which is my kids, which is my grandkids, whoever it is. But if I can speak to you and tell you that there is always a way, okay? Most times we hear there's no way I'm gonna do that. There's no other way. I tried everything. Really, you tried everything? How many times have you tried? Many. Well, how many? A million? No, 3 times. And then it's like, well, that's not everything. You only tried 3 times, and then you give up. You gave up to the third time. The point that I'm trying to make is that we can make something work. Okay. If you're a single mother raising a child, again, it doesn't mean that you need a father figure. Okay. And by the way, here in America, another big thing too is, most kids are being raised by not their biological father, are being raised by a stepfather, a stepmom. That is a culture, okay, that we're starting to settle into. Okay, so what if we have that? What if that stepfather, if that stepmother comes in and be that, and just be that father, the mother figure? Okay, you're gonna stumble and make mistakes. I have many mistakes, but I have learned from them. Okay, that's what makes somebody an accountable, because you take accountability for the mistakes that you make, and that's what makes you better. That's what makes you grow. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make those mistakes in life again. It just means that I made them, got it. I made them again, got it. Okay, but I can't be making those same mistakes again. Next time I'm present to that opportunity where I made the mistake before, now I get to stop and say, wait a minute, this looks like a familiar territory. Yeah, I went that way and I remember that it wasn't that well. I'm not going to go there. I'm actually going to go this way, because I believe that this is the way. Might take you one, two, three, 4 times, but the point is that we got to become aware. We gotta be conscious of the mistakes that we make in our lives. So if you're a single mother, my thing for me is, my mother always taught me principles at an early stage, at an early age, of, from folding my clothes, from, just being clean with myself, okay, being clean with my room, okay, having standards, just being responsible of, hey, you got to go take the food to this teacher, that, because my mom used to grew up, being an entrepreneur, believe it or not, by all people, okay, somebody that is from a little tiny town in Mexico. Okay, she was an entrepreneur, and I was reflecting on that not too long ago, and I said to myself, "Wow, really did learn a lot from my mother." So, if you're a single mother, there's values, okay, that you can implement to your daughter, to your son, but the communication has to be there. Hey, you know what? Your father's not here, but I'm here. We're gonna go through this together. We're gonna learn from this together. Sometimes it's not gonna be the best. Sometimes it's gonna be great. But the point is that we gotta be there with each other when it's not the best, because we're gonna be there when it's the best. But what can we do when it's not the best? Okay, what can we do to learn from those mistakes that we made in the past? And then just communication is gonna be very, very key. because me as a man who grew up without a father, that is the one thing that I admire from my mother, that she gave me those principles, those values. I can't say what it could have been if my dad was around. I can't say that, and I don't want to say that. I don't want to play that victim mentality game. That if it was around, it would have been better, because I don't know that. What if it was the other way around? Okay, I'm just saying that when both man and woman, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, fiancés are coming together, that there is a better possibility that your son will have better principles. Okay, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to them on to choose whatever they're going to choose to be in their lives. But at least you know that you gave it your best. So this is my thing today. Okay, that I do see this very often on a daily basis, and honestly, for me, it's one of those things that I I think that we can make it better. We can make it better. And so I hope that you, if you're watching this video, that you take into consideration what this numbers looks like, because this is not a good number for America right now. It is really not a good number. But with that being said, I hope that you get some value out of this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, the name of the channel is Through Failure Success. We have a goal of 10,000 subscribers. Okay. We have a goal of 10,000 subscribers by December of 2023. As the recording of this video is April of 2023. We have long ways to go, but I know that with your support, we're going to be able to get there. And then again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Click like, consider liking the video, and consider sharing it with anybody that I believe is going to get some value out of it. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.